Coming to you live from a little grass shack in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. It's the Junior Kekuewa Jr. show, starring Junior Kekuewa Jr.
When are we going to fire this guy anyway?
Join Junior along with the Wayne Borhe Band as he makes any kind from Hawaii.
He makes any kind. One more time.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Junior Kekuewa Jr.
How you going? Okay, Hawaii. All right, Hawaii. Oh, hey. All right, cut off their beer already. Send them out. All right. How's it? Welcome to the podcast. I'm Junior Kekuewa Jr. And so on the podcast, we normally have stats that we kind of give you in the beginning just to thank you, because we always start with the attitude of gratitude. But today, Spotify is out. And, you know, we're going to a very serious Mercury retrograde for those who know. If you don't know, never mind. It's not worth it. Trust me. But so Mercury retrograde, okay, when the planet Mercury is in retrograde, now for some of you, this is going to sound a little like way out there, okay? But yeah, so during Mercury retrograde, what happens is electronics, like emails, like schedules, like all of that goes out of whack. Communications, okay? Things get miscommunicated between human beings. It's a real thing. It's a thing. And it happens during Mercury retrograde. So in this case, yeah, it's happening to us. So we just want to say attitude of gratitude. Thank you. If you're listening to the podcast, thank you so much, because we appreciate you, because without you, there is no us, there is no me. And so all the gratitude to you. So thank you wherever you are. Now, today on today's podcast, we're going to talk about the power of words. The power of words. Oh, spooky. So I was watching Billy Carson. Okay. Now, I'm not calling him out or anything. Okay. God bless Billy. we love Billy. We love watching Billy on, TikTok and he's on Instagram. He's all over. He's all over the world, right? And he is this authority in his niche, in his, genre, as it were. And see, I on the other hand claim like no authority or like expert status on anything, because I mean, really, when you consider yourself an expert on anything, because there's always somebody smarter, there's always somebody better, there's always somebody more knowledgeable. So when you go around, proclaiming that you're an expert and stuff like that, like something's wrong. Okay, so anyway, I'm not an expert on anything. Okay, that's not me. That's not I'm not pretending to be anything like that. But Billy is an expert in his field, according to a lot of people. I mean, it's not just Billy, but a lot of people. And so anyway, I was watching his thing, right? And he was talking about words, and he was making it sound really mystical. Like words have power, and they're cymatic frequencies, and when these cymatic frequencies go out into the universe and they create the Okay. Number one, what he's saying is true. Okay, about the cymatic frequencies and everything. Look it up. It's a thing. Just do your research. Okay, I'm not here to explain every little detail to you. However, I can tell you this. I can tell you this much. Okay, I can tell you this. Okay, he's not telling you the full story. Okay, because like when you let's say you curse someone. Okay, the power of words, right? So he goes, well, it's vibration, it's thought, it's energy, it shapes reality. Yeah, it does. Okay, that's part of what it does. Okay, but that only goes so far. Okay, you have to have a willing subject, or you have to have a willing participant, or you have to have someone who's willing to go along with what you're doing, what you're saying, what you're, Okay, curses don't work on people that don't believe in them. Okay, you have to have in other words, somebody has to be open to a curse before you can curse them, and then, all right. So how does this work? Like in addition to vibration, thought, and energy, it works through your subconscious. Okay, it works through your subconscious. Now, your subconscious works like this. Like if I went and I cursed somebody. And I did this by accident one day. And I did this and I said this to somebody. Like I think I was in my 20s. I was in my late 20s. And somebody made me mad. This girl made me mad. We had a relationship. We were in a relationship. She was my girlfriend, and she made me mad. And I said something like, "If you keep that up, you're gonna die an old lonely woman," or so, I don't know, something like that, right? Because we were, having a thing, right? Argument, whatever, and because I couldn't get her to think in a different way, right? And it was my bad. It was my fault. And I did that. Okay. Now here's how that's a curse. Okay. That's a curse in itself. Okay. Now when you tell somebody, because see, my mom had curses. My mom, I used to look at my mom, and my mom had this, when she started to gray in her 30s, her mid 30s, there was this thing like from, right in the middle of her forehead in the front, this gray streak. And it started to go back like that. And, she looked like one of those cartoon witches, because I'm not calling my mom a witch. I'm just saying what she looked like. Okay. So I love my mom. I love my mom. Okay. But all I'm saying is like this white hair. And I mean, it looked prolific. It looked a little witchy, but it looked kind of cool, right? Like my mom, and my mom used to pronounce like Jedi mind trick stuff on me. Okay. And so these were curses. And I'll tell you how the curse works. Okay. So the curse was, right? You. My mom used to always curse me with that. You. Right? Now, think about it, right? Because if I said that to you, right? You. Okay. You, right? And I knew me, right? Okay. We are consciously aware. Okay. We are the highest intelligence form of beings that we know of on the planet. Now, there's something bigger than higher, smarter, more intricate in knowledge than we are. I don't know about it. Maybe you do. I don't know. Okay. But I can tell you that when you start thinking about something, it becomes reality because it becomes a belief in your subconscious. So my mom used to do this, right? My mom used to do that. And so then it became like, well, you. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I do know me. I'm like, I don't like, because I started thinking of all the negative things about me. I started thinking about all the stuff I didn't like about me. I started thinking about all the things that, you see where I'm going, right? Okay, now, so that was the Jedi mind trick. That was the curse. That was one of them. Okay, that was one of them. Now the other thing, that parents say these things because they get passed down, right? And I was always told, like before I left the house, be careful what you do out there because you are a reflection on your parents. And I was like, whoa, okay, those are some powerful words, right? And then as I got older, and as I broke free of that bubble, okay, as I broke free of the conditioning that, I was in, right? And so I had to think about these things because I was like, is this really true? Okay, so I'm here to say question everything. Question everything, Hawaiians. Question everything, okay? So my mom said that. And then pretty soon, right, I do my studies. And I keep going, and I keep right around 2007, I go down the rabbit hole, and I go, you know what? Like, I thought about this. I put some careful thought into this. You're not a reflection on your parents. You're a reflection of your parents, okay? You're a reflection of your parents. So when you're out there in public, what your parents don't want you to do is they don't want you to represent the negative part of who they are, like their bad habits, their bad traits, because, right? You take a look at the kids, you know exactly how the parents are, okay? No, I'm just saying, okay, if you're a parent, don't get all offended and, okay, but that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so those things happen. Now, those words were powerful. My mom put a curse on me one day, right? And this was like think I was 12, and I think, I was on the way to the beach or something. She was cleaning house. And my mom is the kind of lady that will clean house every Saturday. The house was immaculate. It was like a museum. It was like I was living in a museum. I couldn't lie down on the couch. I had to like sit up, right? I mean, we had all these rules. That's probably the reason why I don't like rules anymore, and haven't like since I was 17 and moved out. Right? I said, put me on a plane. I'm never coming home. And I did go home, but at the time I'm saying, right? And so anyway, my mom told me one day, and she said, you know how clumsy you are. Okay, that was a curse. It was a curse. Okay, because right, I started thinking, okay, in my in my subconscious, I started thinking, and I was like, yeah, you know what? You are clumsy. Now, here's what happens when the subconscious starts to believe something, okay? So, for example, and now I have a chapter in my book, chapter 5, and it's called The Earth-Shattering Carelessness of Authority. It's the universal law of attraction and singing, okay? The Earth-Shattering Carelessness of Authority. You can get it on Amazon. It's a universal law of attraction and singing. And so anyway, what that was all about was that this lady came to me when she was 42 years old, and she never sang because her college professor said, you should find something better to do. You should find something else to do. And so he was discouraging her from singing, but he said it in such a way that she had a complex, and she never sang until she saw me in her 40s. She was 42. Okay, when she was in college, I don't know, maybe 18, 19, whatever, 20, up until when do you graduate? Like 23, 24, something like that. Anyway, but anyway, that happened, and that was a real thing. And it was a real thing for her. And being clumsy was a real thing for me. So I started thinking the thought, and I thought the thought over and over again. And a belief is a thought you keep thinking, right? So I keep thinking this thought, right? And this thought keeps going on in my head, right? I keep thinking about this. Oh yeah, I'm clumsy. Yeah, you know how clumsy you are. And pretty soon I started believing it. Why? Because it came from my mom. Now, it didn't have to come from my mom. It could come from, like in your case, it could come from anyone that you have a high regard for. Say it's a teacher. Say it's your principal in school. Say it's a college professor, or say it's a police officer that you respect in the community. Say it's anybody in a position of authority that you look up to. Okay? And they say something to you that starts to shape your reality. Okay, now this shapes reality. It's not just about vibration, thought, and energy. Okay, that's nice to think that way, and it's a pretty elaborate, thing. And it's not a stretch, it's the truth. Okay, but it's really your subconscious that does most of the work here. Okay, your subconscious works against you. Your mind will attack you if you do not apply it to something. So anyway, here's my mind attacking me, right? Now, when the subconscious believes something, it will start to confirm this belief. So your subconscious pulls in all this data, okay? And your subconscious is like, the culmination of all of your senses. So it pulls in all this data, like your whole life, everything you do, everything you feel, everything you touch, everything you hear, everything, right? And then it puts it together for you. Now, when you have that belief, clumsy, right? You have that belief. Okay, your subconscious goes, yeah, and you remember back here, years ago, remember when you did this? That was clumsy. Hey, you remember when you did that over there the other year? Yeah, that was clumsy. Hey, last week when you accidentally dropped the ketchup bottle in the kitchen? That was clumsy. Okay, now your subconscious starts pointing all this stuff out. It starts giving you confirmation. It starts going, yeah, here's the evidence. Look, remember this, remember this, remember this, remember this. And you start thinking about this. And slowly, your subconscious confirms that you're clumsy. And there you go. Curse fulfilled. Now, in my case, right, I was 40 years old by the time I realized I had the curse. Okay, now this is the thing too with your subconscious. That's why it's called subconscious. It works underneath. Okay, now you don't need a hypnotist to go to like, okay, let's see what the problem is. All you have to do is identify what's wrong. What's going wrong in your life? Because if you know what you want, you know what you don't want, right? And if you have evidence of what you don't want, you know what you want. It's that simple, okay? So anyway, so what happened, right, was I was with my girlfriend at the time, okay? And we were doing something, and I said, well, you know how clumsy I am. And she got offended for some reason. She was sticking up for me, and she goes, you are not clumsy. And I'm like, no, I'm clumsy. And she goes, who told you that? And I had to stop and think because I didn't even consciously know. Right? So I had to stop and I thought about it for a second and I said, oh no, my mom told me. My mom told me I was clumsy when I was 12. I remember she was cleaning the house that day and I did something and she goes, you know how clumsy you are. And I went right back to that day. And I remembered when she said it. I had to think about how old I was. I wasn't sure. I thought, like 11, 12, whatever. But I thought about it. And I go, yeah, okay, it was that. And she goes, you are not clumsy. So I had to pay attention to myself for 2 weeks. For 2 weeks, because I knew at that time, I had, training from my mentor, and I was aware of the subconscious and all this stuff. And I was like, okay. And I had to just monitor myself for 2 weeks. And after monitoring myself for 2 weeks, guess what the verdict was? I wasn't clumsy. I was not clumsy. That seed was planted by my mom. Now, she may have just been having a bad day, but that one thing can stick out is what I'm saying, okay? And that's why I'm telling you the story, because it happened to me, okay? And this will explain a lot of stuff in your life, okay? Because you don't think of it in the moment. In the moment, you hear the comment, you're like, yeah, whatever, like that, right? Okay, but your subconscious hears it. Your subconscious stores it. Your subconscious goes, hey, maybe we should think about this. And then you start thinking about it. And when you start thinking about it, right, it becomes a thing. Because, right, a belief is a thought you keep thinking. Oh, there you go. There you go, Hawaiians. There you go. Okay? Keep thinking the thought. It becomes a belief. When it becomes a belief, your subconscious looks for evidence. It pulls things out of the files. Okay, the files of your life, the days of the years of your life. And it starts going, hey, look, there's a pattern here. Boom, 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 boom. You did all this stuff. Clumsy. There you go. Okay? Now, some people don't really have, a problem with their subconscious, or so they think, right? Because they just do what they do and they don't pay attention. They do not pay attention, and they just do what they do. And some people do what they do every day, and they repeat the cycle over and over and over and over and over until one day they're not here anymore. Now, if that's the kind of life that you have, like you love your life, and because I was in a period where I loved my life. My career was going over the top. Money was coming out of everywhere. Money would just I think it was coming out of the floorboard at one point. I was like, oh, here's money. Let's harvest this. There's money over there. And money was coming from everywhere. Okay. And here's another thing. Here's a caveat. Do not tell your friends and family how much money you make, ever. Ever. Okay. Because I can tell you, if I told my mom how much money I was making, right, or how much money I make currently, she wouldn't give me anything. Nothing. I would get absolutely zero. So it's better to get some love, is what I'm saying. Okay, it's better to open that happy birthday card and wow, there's a check in here. Hey, right on. And but my mom is a sweetheart. She used to deposit money in my business account, and he used to screw up my business account. Finally, I had to give her another account number. Mom, please, I love you, but yeah, if you're gonna put birthday money in my account or something or whatever, use this one. It's because my accountant was going crazy. Anyway, but that's what I'm saying, Hawaiians. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you don't even know what it is. Okay, but it's incorporating your action. It's incorporated in your actions because it produces your actions. Now imagine a tree. Okay, we're going to talk about the subconscious tree. to give you a visual. Now, the subconscious beliefs, okay, those beliefs, the thoughts you keep thinking, those are the roots of the tree. Now, the middle of the tree, okay, the body of the tree, that's your paradigm. That's the way you see the world based upon what you believe in the roots, your subconscious, okay? So now the way you see the world will dictate your attitude. Okay, you're going to have either a positive attitude, negative attitude, sassy attitude, a friendly attitude, loving attitude, whatever kind of attitude you have. Okay, some people say bad attitude, right? But it's only in bad contrast, in contrast to their attitude. Okay, sorry, I'm thinking in real time and I have ADHD and my brain jumps tracks. But that's what happens. Okay, so like if I see somebody and I go, well, he has a bad attitude, it just may be that his attitude is not conducive to mine. It may be that I see his attitude as a bad attitude. It's not necessarily a bad attitude. It's just my understanding based upon my subconscious beliefs. Okay, so now it becomes my perception of his attitude or her attitude or whatever, right? So you have to think about that. So the next time you pass, that's why it says in the Bible, okay, judge or judge not, and ye shall not be judged. Because when you pass judgment on your friend, guess who you're really passing judgment on? Yourself. Yeah, when you pass judgment on somebody else, okay? So like when you curse somebody else, you go, hey, your attitude sucks. And they might laugh it off right then and there. They might not, think anything, right? They might just be like, oh, whatever, okay? But they're going to think about it. They're going to think about it. And one day they're going to hear it again. And they might hear it from just any old person, right? And then go, yeah, I remember Junior said my attitude sucked, okay? Now, I got to tell you another thing, right? People who are in positions of I don't know, public, whatever, public publicity, public whatever, popularity, whatever, okay? Their words are even more powerful because of their status. And I had to learn that. And I had to be mindful of it because I had to watch what I told people. I still have to. I can't speak my mind in public. I cannot. Because sometimes, and it goes around, it comes back. It comes back to me. People go like, so-and-so said that you said that, like that. And I'm like, oh, wow. When I first heard that, like years and years ago, this is over 25 years ago, and I heard this for the first time. And I'm like, whoa, I better watch what I say. Okay, I better be mindful of what I say. Because it could have been my perception or my disliking in the moment of something. And then somebody keeps thinking about it. Said, hey, Junior said, blah, 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 right? And then, what? He said, what? And that might carry more weight because of the Junior popularity thingy, that kind of thing, right? Now, we're heard around the world in 56, I think it's 56 countries and 20-something states. Okay, so, this works everywhere because this is the way that human beings work. This is not just, like, oh, this may happen to you. No, this is going to happen to you. And this is how curses are done. Okay, yes, there are vibrational curses. Yes, there is bad energy, of course. Yes, an evil spirit can come into you. Okay, let's say evil energy. It's happened to me a couple of times, and I had to get rid of it. Okay, and there's ways to get rid of this stuff. Okay, there's ways to transmute energy. Okay, so that's a real thing. I'm not saying it's not real. Vibration, thought, energy, yes, it's real. But your subconscious is the fastest way. It's the fastest way to change. If you want to change anything, okay, start writing. I am so happy and grateful now that I am what? Confident. I am, right? agile instead of clumsy, right? You want to write the opposite is what I'm saying. Write the opposite. If you feel bad, put feeling good. I am so happy and grateful now that I feel good. Thank you. There you go. That's your affirmation. If you write that over and over and over by hand, guess what's going to happen to your subconscious? It's going to start to believe it. Why? Because you keep thinking it. You keep writing it. You keep speaking it. Then you get to live it. You get to live it. You get to be happy. I'm saying this because I care. Okay, now this podcast is going to be here long after I'm dead. Okay, this podcast, you could listen to this. People will listen to this in the future and go, wow, I can't believe Uncle was telling us all of this. I can't believe Uncle was breaking it down like this. Well, hey, Uncle is breaking it down because there's people out there that will only tell you part of the story. They will only give you one side because it sounds mystical. And guess what? You can market mystical. The truth hurts sometimes. You can market mystical. Mystical sells, okay? It sells. And then you can charge thousands of dollars for a consultation. Okay? But that's not why I'm on earth. That's not why I'm here. I am not on earth to be a billionaire, although it could happen. It could happen. I mean, I'm just saying it could happen. Okay? I do a lot of stuff. And it just takes one thing to go boom, okay? But I'm that's not why I'm here. I'm not on earth to see how much capital I can produce. I'm here on earth to see how many minds I can open, how many people I can free. I'm here to see how many people. So I open minds, hearts, and eyes. How many eyes can I open? You know, look, you see over here, look at that. Nothing is the way they make it seem to you in society. Nothing in society is the way it appears to be. Nothing. You have entities that are, their sole purpose for existence is to bring fear into your life because they know that if they can keep you just a little bit afraid, and that could be in the form of resentment, that could be the red versus blue, that could be religion versus spirituality. That could be dogma versus who you are inside. That could be, you see, authority versus, non-authority. All of those things. Whatever works against the other. If they keep doing it, if there's entities in society that keep doing it, they're going to keep you in the middle. They're going to keep you going left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. And they'll keep you thinking, should we do it this way, that way, this way, that way, this way, that way, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue. That's an example. There's a reason why corporate logos of sports are red and blue. You ever notice that? Mm-hmm. You ever notice that corporate logos have a certain theme to it? Go look at red and blue logos. It's a thing. And then politics is divided red and blue. It's a thing. Now, when you go research this stuff, you go, wow. Okay, here's some esoteric knowledge for you. Now, this is, I don't mean esoteric knowledge in the true sense of like really deeply hidden, okay? Because this stuff is hidden right in front of you. It's like it's staring you in the face and you're not seeing it for what it is. But go look at symbols. Go look at the car manufacturer symbols. Go look at Toyota. Go look at Honda. Go look at Maserati. Go look at all of these symbols of these major automobiles. BMW. You ever notice? It's a Masonic floor pattern. BMW, the checkerboard. Mm-hmm. So there's so much of this stuff. And I'm not trying to lean too much conspiracy. Okay, I'm not trying to lean that way too much. Okay, I'm just saying that everything's hidden right in front of you. And nothing is as it appears to be. Nothing. From the Chevrolet logo on down. Okay, it's a winged disc. That comes from Egypt. It's Masonic. Not that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying what it is. Okay, There are a lot of, I mean, there's good everything. There's good Masons, there's bad Masons, there's good Freemasons, there's bad there's good Catholics, there's bad, no, there are good Catholics. My grandmother was a good Catholic. I think that meant that that she was like uber conditioned. But okay, I'm just saying my grandmother was a great person. She was a great individual. She was an entrepreneur, and she's probably responsible for everything that's going on in my life because of genetics, because of, things run in the family. Okay, but the power of words, okay, there's the power of symbols, there's the power of colors, okay, and this is all conducive to vibrations, okay, think about it. Okay, colors, okay, also symbols, okay, shapes that are part of symbolism, and words. Now, these things combined, I used to do comedy on the radio, and the comedy was all about the words that I chose in the description. Okay. Now, you can say he hit him. You can say he slammed him. You can say he whatever. I can't even think in real time anymore. I don't do comedy anymore. But you could say he hit him, he slammed him, he pounded him. Now you get 3 different pictures, you see? He pounded him against the pavement. He slammed him against the pavement. He hit him against the pavement. He body slammed him against the pavement. He dropped him against the pavement. You see the difference? See? All these visuals, right? So now when I did comedy, I would be very mindful of those details, those adjectives, and I would substitute the adjectives, and I started to get really, really good at it. And I started, making these unreal pictures, these movies in people's heads, these comic reels, if you will. They were reels because our bits only lasted a couple of minutes, right? And I had a couple of minutes to put the right movie, the right visual in people's heads. And that's what I did for a living. Actually, I did that for fun. I didn't really do it for a living. I did it for fun. But yes, it made me a huge living. It allowed me to develop several companies. But I'm just saying, like it was just something that was fun to do, that was productive. It was fun, and it paid bills. It did everything, right? And when I was a kid, right, people used to think I was out of my mind because I would just talk like the cartoons. I would just, I was a cartoon. I became a cartoon. When I was young in elementary school, I became a cartoon. And that's what I wanted to be at the time. I wanted to be just like what I saw on the TV, even though I knew consciously it was a cartoon, and I started talking like the cartoons, started walking around, hey, Rocky, you want to pull a rabbit out of my hat? And everybody, saw me in the playground, and at first they went, hey, that's cute. Yeah, that's pretty cool, And then when I kept doing it, it was like, I think he has a problem. I didn't have a problem. I was having fun, okay? And I'm an only child. Okay, you see, all right? So I had to entertain myself, and then I became that, okay? And that's why in the Bible it says, I am that I am. It's about what you identify with in life. Okay, here comes the mindset coaching part. Okay, write this down. It's about what you think about the most is what you become. If you think about cartoon, right, the majority of the time, if you think about cartoon all the time, guess what? You become a cartoon. I know some guys, right? They're regular, everyday people. They work in construction. They work in other trades. They're not in entertainment, but they're the funniest guys. And they're funnier. Okay? They are funnier than professionals. Like, it's amazing. And I know a lot of guitar players that do other things that are better than professional guitar players, like all day long. So it's up to you. It's up to you what you want to do. And you can do more than one thing. I knew a dentist who was an outstanding upright bassist playing jazz. He was a dentist by trade. But then when he played jazz, it was like, whoa, like he was professional. He was like professional grade. He was that good. And you go, wow, this guy's a dentist? Why didn't he go play with a famous band or anything? And you go, because it's more reliable to have patience. I mean, that kind of thing, right? But the power of words, let's get back to that, okay? I take you off on the left over here, Hawaiians, because I want you guys to learn these things. I want you guys to be aware that there's so many things out there that are deceiving, not in the sense that they intentionally want to fool you, but that they keep you busy with other things, so they keep you distracted. Then they pass all kinds of laws, and then pretty soon you go, what? We got to do what? we got to what? We got to drive 5 miles an hour? We got to pay so much tax for our car, we don't want to drive anymore? What? Okay, I'm kidding, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you're being distracted from. Now, healing through words, okay, is another thing. You can use words to bless, to heal, okay, to encourage, and to prosper. How does that work? Well, if you're healing, okay, say things like, I am whole, I am loved, I am healthy, I am abundant. Because the kingdom is in here. Jesus Christ told you the kingdom is in here. It's in you. The kingdom of God lives within you. Now, this is not some woo-woo kind of thing. What does that mean, the kingdom is within? That means you have the ability to partner with God if you so choose. And when you make God your partner, or let's say it another way, when you make that life source your partner, or let's say it another way, when you make that energy your partner, you can do anything. Anything. You can have, do, or be anything. And I know some of you are sitting there going, wow, well, yeah, I'd love to be a billionaire, but yeah. That kind of thing, that kind of thought, okay? But think about the billionaires and what they did. And yes, many of them inherited money, and then they made it into more, right? So you have more billionaires now. Why? Because of their ancestors. Here's an example, okay? Bacardi rum, okay? They started running moonshine. They were running moonshine in the old days. In the old days, when it was illegal, right? Okay, but they took something, right, illegal, and then they made it legal. And then now their heirs to the Bacardi fortune are like billionaires, okay? I'm not suggesting to go do illegal stuff. I'm just saying that happened with Bacardi. That I just know about that part. Okay, but what I'm saying is, yeah, when you work hard and then your family comes along, then they work hard, and then you teach them, whatever, and then you pass it down, and then they inherit it and they grow it, then yeah, billionaire is possible. Of course. It's easier to become a billionaire right now in 2025, okay, than it is to be a millionaire, because things just touch off like that. Like, oh, check them again, Hoynes. Oh, one more time. There you go. Okay. So it just touches off like that. And before you know it, boom, billions. The government loves that. Why? Because they make the tax or not. Some billionaires. Yeah, some billionaires have those tax attorneys, those tax secrets. But no, I'm just saying they do pay tax. They do pay tax. But compared to what they make, it's like, yeah, small kind. But healing through words, okay, so you can heal through words. Blessing through words, okay? Blessing. Words can build or destroy through the subconscious, okay? It can also, vibration. It can also work that way, but mostly through the subconscious. So when you bless somebody, what are you doing? Well, you're going to emphasize words that have the power to create, right? You're going to speak life instead of speaking death, instead of speaking a negative finality. You're going to speak life, physical well-being. I am so happy and grateful now that I'm healthy. There you go. Talk about things you love. I love this. I love that. I started getting the habit of doing that like maybe 20 years ago. I love that car. I love that girl. I love that thing. I love that. I used to say that all the time. People thought like, whoa, uncle, what's going on? Right? Because I didn't say I like that thing. I used to say I love it. And I used to say I love about everything. I was speaking life into things. I was speaking life into my subconscious. All right, write this down. This is mindset coaching, okay? Your subconscious does not know if you're talking to yourself or if you're talking to someone or something else. Because you could talk to things. They just won't talk back. You know, I talk to trees. You know, sometimes I talk to my guitar. It doesn't talk back. Okay? But my subconscious is listening, right? Sometimes I tell my guitar, you're such a beautiful instrument. Thank you, Father God. You know, and this isn't a religious program, okay? That's just me. That's my preference. That's what I do. Words for prosperity, wealth consciousness. You can speak all of that. So what are you going to do? You say, thank you. Thank you for what I have. I've been doing this meditation, you know, and it's been like a 44-minute meditation. And I'm on the 9th day already of 30. I'm going to do it for 30 days. And I decided, well, yeah, let's do this. It's good. It's healthy. And while I'm doing the meditation, while I'm hearing the guided meditation, inside I'm saying thank you. I'm being grateful because it attracts positive experiences. It brings more of whatever it is you're saying thankful for. Okay, don't ask me the specifics on how it works, but it works. Okay? So you can speak words of gratitude, words of prosperity. I am grateful for all I have. Okay? Prosperity words can carry the vibration of belief and expectation that aligns your energy with opportunities. Is it vibrational or subconscious? Now, that's the question, right? It's both. It's both. It works in harmony, okay? So vibrationally, yeah, you throw out a vibe, okay? You do. Because it can be an angry vibe. It can be a happy vibe. Certain words have certain vibes. Love, right? When you say when you see somebody, you say, I like you. Or you go, I love you. Whoa. That love hit different, right? It hits different. There you go. There's a lot of girls too that I don't want to say I love you because that'll throw a different vibe. And then, you know, then girls take it all personal and stuff, and then pretty soon they want to get married. They want to do crazy things, you know. So anyway, but okay, all right. So vibrational and subconscious. It works hand in hand. Okay. Every word has a frequency. Loving, kind, and uplifting words are going to project positive vibrations, high frequency vibrations. Your subconscious will hear and or repeat and shape your inner programming, guarantee, all day long. All day long. Okay, so whatever you're saying, like right now, my subconscious does not know if I'm talking to me or you. It has no judgment. It cannot judge. It cannot distinguish. It is not prejudice. It does not know fantasy from reality. It doesn't. It just knows that I'm talking right now. That's all it knows. You know, so as long as I keep saying the right stuff, right, it's good for me. It's good for you. It's a win-win. Boom. There you go, always. Right there. See? See how that works? See how karma works? Right there. Boom. In the subconscious. You give love, you give positivity, you give things that help people, and boom, you get it right back instantaneously through your subconscious. Now, what about when you gossip? What about when you say bad things about people? What about, you know, do I do it? Yeah, that happens. That does happen because I have opinions. I'm a human being. But you know what I do inside when I say something bad about somebody? I say, I'm sorry. As inside, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Okay, erase. I'm sorry. Why? Because I'm human. I'm a human. I have opinions. So do that. Or here's another hack. Okay, you can actually reverse the spell or the curse or the negative comment, however you want to look at it. You can reverse it. And all you have to do is follow the negative comment with a positive one.
I did this for years, and it got me off the karmic hook, so to speak. You know, because I would say something about someone, and then I would follow it with something nice. Now, this guy I used to work with in radio was the opposite. And I observed this, and I thought, wow, like this has got to be going bad for him. Because the first thing he would say is, so-and-so. And I would be like, yeah. And he goes, nice guy. And then he would tell me all the dirt. Okay, so so-and-so, nice guy, but, and then all of that, the dirt all came out. And that's how it ended. He had it backwards. And I saw the results in his life. And I saw the way he turned out. And I saw the way he was going. And he had fame. He had notoriety. He had money. He had. But he also had a lot of problems. Maybe he's figured it out by now. But when you start out with positive, and then you flip like that, and you go negative on somebody, that negativity goes in your subconscious last. And the last thing you say, and the last thing you hear, and the last thing you feel is the first thing the subconscious remembers. The first thing. So do it the other way. Voice your opinion because you're allowed to have an opinion. You're allowed to have a position. You're allowed to be a conservative or a liberal. You're allowed to be on the left side or right side or wrong side or right side or whatever side. You have that privilege as a human being to voice your opinion, to disagree. You can always disagree. You know the people that say, let's agree to disagree? Like, I can agree to disagree. Like, okay, I crack up. I think that's so funny. All right? But this is what I'm going to leave you with today. Okay, this is going to help your life. Okay, take notes. Take notes, Owens. Okay, this is going to help your life. When you say something bad about somebody, because we all do, okay, me too, okay, hashtag me too, okay, when you do that, follow it up with a good part. Bob, he's so lazy. Man, it really irks me. Like, he's so lazy. Like, he can't even clean his room. But you know what? He's been my friend for 30 years, and I love the guy. He's a slob, but I love him. Like, he's a good dude. There. Done. Okay? You got yourself off the karmic hook. Why? Because you redeemed yourself. Because you made up for it. Yes, you articulated your displeasure, but you also were fair. You were also just. You were also kind. And you did the kind part last. And that's the first thing your subconscious remembers. And because it's the first thing that your subconscious remembers, you did yourself good. And that vibrational thing that goes out in the universe? Okay, that's also a transmutation of energy because it transmuted from bad to good. It transmuted from dissing somebody to complimenting somebody. You transmuted the energy, that cymatic frequency that, Billy Carson talks about. Yeah, you reversed it. You transmuted it. Transmute means to take from one form and change it into the other. To take negative energy and change it into positive energy. To take something good and turn it into something bad, or to take something bad and to change it into something good. And this is the power of the human being. This is something you can do. This is something you don't have to go to college for. This is something you don't have to spend hours to learn. This is simple right and wrong and the articulation of it. Human beings know when they're doing something wrong. Okay, you guys are all born, we were all of us, myself included, we were all born knowing right from wrong. Little infants have this guilt look on their face when they do something wrong. everybody knows right from wrong. You don't have to be taught that. Parents just, they didn't know better in the old days. They didn't have this knowledge. Okay, so they did things that affected people and, I don't know, gave them PTSD. I don't know. But I'm just saying, right? But now we know. And with knowledge comes responsibility. And now that you know, go out into the world and make the world a better place. Because you have the power. Because you're a human being. Because you know better. And by listening to this podcast and gathering this information, now you take this information and you go do your research and you will find what I found. And then you will have this wonderful, wonderful dream life and you will live your dreams. There you go, Hawaiians. There you go. Oh, I gotta go. Whoa. Oh, boy. Here come the pahu. Time to dance the hula. All right. So, hey. Remember what I said, Hawaiians, okay? Remember what I said. Take the wrong and make them right. Don't start with right and then go wrong. That doesn't work. Hey, we want to say thank you to the Voice Master family of service companies, AFM Hawaii Music, and the music of Darren Chiden. You can find him on iTunes. Buy his music, okay? He is outstanding. Hire him for your parties at AFMHawaiiMusic.com. Till next time, I'm Junior saying, keep lots of love in your heart and that big smile on your face, because that one little smile can make the world a whole lot brighter. Take care, you guys. Until next time. Aloha!